In the fall of 2023, I decided to visit Barcelona because my daughter, Kate, lives there. I wanted to visit with her, but I also wanted to go on some pilgrimage sites because Barcelona, the area around Barcelona, is very rich in these things. One of the first things I wanted to go to was La Sallette. La Sallette is near to Barcelona, but it's quite a drive. It's about 6 hours north into France, into very mountainous territory. So I thought I would record the trip and share it with you all. As you can see, the mountains are really beautiful. It's spectacular to drive the whole route, and La Sallette is really deep and high in the mountains. How high, I'm not exactly sure. Anybody, I guess, could check. But the altitude's really up there, way above the tree line. It's very, very isolated. Kate was nice enough to drive, and I could use my little Sony camera, which is what I don't normally use, but the Sony works so automatically that I was sure I could get most of my shots and not really mess everything up. You can see that mountain, that's really beautiful, but it's pretty small compared to where we're actually going. We had a beautiful day to travel, and the road goes up to Arles, I guess that's the way it's pronounced, where the painter Van Gogh lived for a short time. Look at those mountains, they're absolutely amazing. Just think that was all molten lava for a while, and then it cooled off, and that's the way it ended up. Kate did a great job driving, and the driving was not easy, as you'll see. We also visited another place, an apparition site, that was spectacularly difficult and scary to get up to. It's not easy to access all these apparition sites. We drove up to these two-lane roads. We drove actually on a super highway to get up to them. And I thought, well, we'll be in La Sallette in no time. But it was really quite a drive off the highway. And we passed through a lot of small French villages, as you can see, very old houses. I can imagine when I actually was born and raised in the mountains in Kentucky, but they were nothing like this. Much smaller and much older mountain chain. You don't hear a lot about France, about southeastern France, usually focusing on the big cities and stuff like that. But this is a spectacular place to visit. As you can see, those mountains there are quite well above the tree line. Just a few heroic evergreens are growing up there. And you can see we were 2.5 hours off the freeway, and we're beginning to make our climb up to La Sallette. La Sallette was an apparition site that occurred in the middle 1800s, like 1840, 1850, and the Blessed Virgin Mary visited two small children who were herding cattle maybe goats or sheep, up in the mountains. And she gave them several messages to announce to the world, which they did. You can look up full information on the Apparition site on the internet. Just put in La Sallette Apparitions and you'll find lots and lots of information. And that's the site we're going to be visiting. This is a very dangerous road, and it was even more dangerous some years ago. Tragically, I heard that an entire busload of pilgrims actually went off the edge of one of these mountains, and I think everyone was killed. So beautiful but dangerous. We've got to be at 7,000 feet here, very high up. Wow, amazing. As you look up, but don't look down. I'm not sure exactly what mountain chain this is. I don't think it's the Pyrenees, but it may be. But I still think it's probably far too north to be the Pyrenees. Right there you could catch a glimpse in the distance of the Apparition site and the buildings that are there. They offer accommodations for pilgrimage groups. While we were there, there was a Belgian group that were visiting, and a Japanese group, and a bunch of other groups that I didn't recognize, but we all dined together in a dining hall, and the nuns served us, reasonably good meals. The accommodations are not expensive, so you can go there without breaking the bank. You can see us struggling along here. The road's kind of bumpy as we're getting close up to there. And when you look over, well, if you're acrophobic, don't look over. But if you can take a good look. It's a magnificent view from there. The mountains are truly beautiful and spectacular. I think I have a few handheld shots coming up when we got out of the car and stopped moving. There we go. There's one. And as you can see, the wind is constantly blowing. We had a beautiful day on arriving, but the next day, which was the main day that we were going to spend there, was cloudy and very gray. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's what the weather served us, so we're just grateful to be there and to be safe. We got our accommodations, and I got up very early the next morning and shot some video of these images that were left by different pilgrimage groups at different times. Very beautiful needlework from England and America and other places too. And I think, yeah, here we go. There's some images of the children's clothes. They were very poor shepherd children. They were in the fields working for their masters with their cows and sheep. They weren't friends. They just happened to be together on that day. Here's another beautiful image, and this is the hallway, the main hallway where the pilgrimage groups meet. To the left there is cafeteria, and here's the bookstore, which is closed because it's very early in the morning at this point, maybe 6 o'clock, and nobody's stirring around except a few of the nuns who were working in the cafeteria. And here are the grounds where the apparitions happened. The apparitions were very extensive. The information from the two seers, Melanie and Maxim, has been given actually in fragments in different places, certain parts left out. I think that the whole report can be read in a book by Xavier Aural called Revelations, which is a remarkable book. And it details the extensive conversation that the children had with the Blessed Virgin and the events that happened. The reason that you see statues, you will be seeing here, statues in different places, is because they conform to the various parts of the narrative that went on, because the Blessed Virgin met them at a low part there, and then they traveled actually as they conversed up the hill and at different spots. There's a chapel way up at the top. I didn't go up there, I guess because I was lazy. But the ground was pretty well soaked with rain. There'd been a lot of rain, I guess, before this, and footing wasn't all that sure. Our Blessed Virgin, she appeared in peasant clothes. I think it's very common in apparitions. There's a gentleman taking care of the grounds, and there at the lower part where you can see where the apparitions, the spots where the apparitions happened. There's also a spring there. I'll show you a little later. I don't know what the crosses were. Maybe places acknowledging donors. I don't read French, so I don't really know what they represent. But all these spots where you see the statues are significant spots in their journey up the hill as they converse to Our Lady, with Our Lady. You can see the chapel there with the two bell towers. And there's that high chapel up there. Anyway, it's a building. I'm not sure what it signifies. And there you get a full shot of the two bell towers in the chapel there at the visitor center. Here's the inside where you see people having lit candles. And I can't resist taking another shot of the landscape, which is very remarkable, very beautiful, awe-inspiring actually. Even on a gray day like that day was, it's still really beautiful. Pilgrims often climb that hill where you see the cross. They gather up there. And there you can see a tour bus of groups that have just arrived. I'm glad I'm not driving that bus, and I'm glad I wasn't on that bus. I mean, the road's not terrible, but there's no room for error when you're coming up there. Even in our little car, it was kind of touch and go at times. And there's a gift shop. We were able to pick up some bottles to fill with the water of the spring. The spring actually came up in 1846, the very same year of the apparitions. And the spring has been flowing without stop. There it is. Ever since then. There have been some miracles associated with the waters. It's kind of a foreshadowing of the events at Lourdes. I think it was 1856, somewhere around there, when Our Lady appeared to Bernadette in the town of Lourdes on the other side of France, on the western side, in the Pyrenees. These are the Alps, actually. These are the French Alps. This is the spot where the children first saw Our Lady. They came down the hill to see her. The statue in the back shows where she was sitting, slumped and weeping. The children said she wept the entire time because her message was very sorrowful and very shocking. Melanie said as Our Lady proceeded up the hills with them that her feet touched the tops of the grass but did not bend the blades of grass. As you can see, the clouds are gathering. Only about a half hour from there, from that point, did the rain start. A very cold rain, as you would expect, since we were in October at that time.
То він зараз більше займається шахматами, найбільше створює шахматами.
So we had to wait to get water because there were a lot of people there collecting water. Finally, Kate got around to being able to fill all the bottles. She took one for herself, at least one, and I took a couple back to friends, and the blue bottle sits on my shelf in our bedroom. So as the weather worsened, we gathered our goods together and headed down the hill and back to Barcelona. I hope you enjoyed this visit. If you would, give us a like, and I'll be posting several more videos on Barcelona in the next few days. Thanks for watching.